Welcome to another wonderful episode of Write and Shine, Shining Through Your Words, author series, proudly brought to you by Write and Shine Media House. My name is Magriet, and I must say this series won't be this series without the incredible people along the way, like Phillip. I just am so delighted to have you back, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. Super happy to be back. We had a great time on the show in our previous episode, so I just know this is going to be another great episode. But to briefly introduce myself, I am, I guess you can say like the jack of all trades, but semi-master of all. I'm not going to say I'm the master of all. I'm a four-time author. That's how we got a chance to meet from being within the author world. Oh, by the way. I'm almost done with my next manuscript from the last time we spoke.
That is
Um,
amazing. I
it
can't wait to
is.
hear more.
I've been cranking. I'm a former ESPN Plus producer. I'm a college instructor teaching digital marketing. And also, since the last time we spoke, I've co-founded a creative agency. So we're in the middle of a soft launch for that right now. And also a speaker and podcaster just like yourself. So I'm a little bit of everything.
Philip, I love that so much. And also, the synergy and passion we share about storytelling and helping others to shine through their story.
Yeah.
Because the more clear you are in your messaging, the brighter you shine. Basically, if you're vague or you're like, like not very clear, you lose
Yeah.
people's attention.
You have to be able to articulate that story very well because honestly, I think we spoke about this last time, but stories is the way that one people have always learned, but traditions get passed from generation to
Yes.
generation. And, it's just the best way to get a message across to someone because sometimes they can forget everything you say about, let's just say like a movie, but you remember the main message of the movie. And that's what you always take away from it. So storytelling is always very important.
I love that so much. And if you think about it, storytelling is how we connect, how people connect, how, businesses connect. And, storytelling is how we were raised. Your mom would read you a bedtime story. There's just
Mhm.
something magical in that.
It is. What's one of your favorite stories that you can think of off the top of your head that has always stuck with you as you've grown up?
So mine, interestingly enough, like I love something like gummy bears. I don't know if you know.
Like like the candy?
Like the
Oh, I love
candy,
gummy
like it's
bears.
just
Yeah.
something, the base type of, and the I think the creativity, Alice in Wonderland, creating something from nothing and these experiences that we go on by these characters. Interestingly enough,
Hmm.
and you?
Man, if the story, I think I hear so many stories, but I would say one of the stories I've heard that recently just stuck with me was from an individual when I was at a conference. He was talking about how last year was his worst year that he ever had in life, and he's about 17 right now. And then I think he had like two or three gun charges.
Oh, wow.
He was failing all his classes, and then he found a mentor and completely turned his life around and he is now about to grad. He should have graduated now. I think he should have walked across the stage for graduation. He was able to get all his gun charges dropped, and he also has his very first job. And he was saying how this was the best year of his life. And that story just reminded me that no matter where you are right now, where you've been this year, that there can always be something brighter for you on the other side if you keep your head up, one, but also seek guidance because all of us are on this journey, but none of us should be on this journey alone.
Exactly. I love that so much, Philip. And, for me especially, but you're also passionate about nonprofit work, seeing so much poverty and really sad like stories, like you just mentioned, and to
Hmm.
see the other side, the flip side, how people react or decide to react, amidst all of this. That's hero, that's power.
Yeah, it really is. And it's sometimes we just need to hear stories like that to just remind us the basic things like, oh, maybe I should have a mentor, maybe I should seek help or whatever it is, guidance, have that lending hand because a lot of us, we should not go down these journeys alone because they're all difficult, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and also, you do feel isolated, and there's so much lies coming in, when you're
Mhm.
on a downward spiral. So to hear wisdom and truth and hope, stories of hope, all of that is something remarkable. And that's also what I love so much about this series is the stories of hope like yours,
Yeah.
to really for people to be inspired by, like you obviously are extremely passionate about what you do.
I am. And I'm very thankful for it. We had a chance to speak about this last time, but not everyone has the opportunity to work within their passion.
Yes.
But I'm very thankful that I've been able to continuously work in things I'm passionate about, but it's all because I continue to explore just everything the world has to offer. I don't think that enough people do that. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity of being offered free food when I was in high school because if they didn't offer me free food for that internship, then I probably would never have applied and taken it. It's completely changed my life.
Now that's incredible. And also, what you do with the opportunity is
Hmm.
remarkable. And I'm cheering for you all the way here from South Africa. And
Thank you.
we were talking earlier about, you coming on again. I'm so happy to have you here because it's such a journey. It's not just a one interview. Being a solopreneur, yo, it's not for the faint-hearted. Hey?
It's not. It's not. I saw a post on Threads earlier today, or I guess yesterday, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning for me right now. But
Okay.
yesterday, someone said being a solopreneur is all about failing every day and getting right back up and just figuring it out day by day. And I was like, that's so true. You really are
That
just
makes
figuring it out
sense.
every day. And it's like having continuous homework and from being in
Exactly.
school.
But you also have to give yourself marks at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that's very true. And find that time to rest too, because no one's going to tell you to take that rest.
exactly, and that's what, where I'm going to with this because it's easy to talk about the passion. It's easy to
Hmm.
talk about the purpose. Some are still figuring it out, but most have discovered the passion and purpose. But with that, the rest, the self-care, like all of those words for me as well. I mean, I was saying to you earlier how excited I am to work during December. And I realized when I said it out loud, like, what's going on in this head of mine?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Solopreneur.
Nah, it's all good, but that just means that you're truly passionate and you love what you do. And there's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day because that fuels all the work that you're doing. But as we were saying before, we can't work unless we work. Oh, hold on, I
Yes.
just messed the entire quote up. Hold on. Sorry, it's a 2 a.m. brain right now.
You're
I,
looking so good for
nothing
2 a.m.,
works.
eh?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Nothing works if I can't work.
Yeah,
Meaning
exactly.
that if I can't get up and think properly, if I can't move properly, then everything else that I'm working on right now, I think that was even a prime example, right? Like it's 2 a.m. for me right now, and I'm saying things out the side of my mouth, outside of my head. But this was something that I was doing every single day, being up at 2 a.m., grinding,
Yes.
right, breaking yourself down. Then in the long run, you're going to have that negative impact on yourself. So you have to be able to get that rest so you can be able to put forth your best effort every single day when you show up.
Exactly. No, Philip, and it's so true because we like last year, this time around December, January, I had a massive mental breakdown. First one
Mm,
in my entire life. And, I've been a single mom for 17 years. And, it's just continual. Just you have to almost absorb everything. Like you say, you have to navigate. But I just came to a point where I couldn't. I literally physically couldn't do it anymore. And, that brought me to a place of really starting to have to reprioritize, like what is really important. And I do want to ask you, because you are very passionate about helping people with planning and priorities and all this stuff. I do think it's a wonderful time of the year to really say, let's look at what is your priorities and where do you fit in all of this, is the
yeah.
question.
Yeah. Um, Wait, so where do I fit in terms of like how am I able to rest?
Yes. Just I think that the whole, the better you are and a better mindset, everything, the
Yeah.
better you basically perform.
Yeah, I think one thing I've started to realize as I continue to mature in my career is that I can't continuously put in 12-hour days like I used to. And I need to split up those 12 hours in a way that's going to allow me to still grow without working, right? So, uh,
Yeah.
8 hours a day working, but being really strategic with it. So, I actually, let me even break it down to you real quick. Hold
I
on.
love this because it's
Thank you.
just so I think aligned as well because it's like the 18-hour days that I put in. It just took its toll. It
I can't
100%
do
took its
it.
toll. You can't.
So the way that I've started breaking down my days to re-energize myself, I break it up in parts. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna happen today because I'm since it's 2 a.m. But typically it's gonna start like 5 a.m. and it'll be like meditation, journal, gym, read, and shower and breakfast. And all of that's gonna take like 4 hours. So it's like I make sure that I give my morning to myself. And then on like a Monday, I'll spend 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours just creating content, break now work on some strategic work, like maybe some client phone calls, stuff like that. And then after that, I'm relaxing. I'm spending time with my fiance. I'm playing video games. I'm on social media chilling, all that type of stuff. And so every single day is kind of similar to that, except for Tuesday. Tuesday, I completely dedicate to podcasts because it takes so much energy. And I'm just like, I'm just going to go all out on Tuesdays and whatnot. And so, yeah, every single day I've started to structure like that. And that's helped me in the long run be able to maintain my energy levels and also relax throughout the day at the same
I love
time.
that. That is so wise because you just show up in such a different energy when you are relaxed
Mhm.
and not overwhelmed or stressed. Like I think of
Yeah.
myself a year ago with these 18-hour days and it's push, push, push because I am extremely, dynamic, determined, whatever you call it. But it's up to a point where it's actually detrimental to yourself and your mental health if you don't stop pushing. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about your, approach. Did you have to learn your lesson the hard way, Philip?
Oh, for sure. I had a moment like yourself last year.
Oi,
Not it wasn't last year for me, but it was a moment like you had. This was maybe 7 years ago, where I
wow.
was working 16-hour days. And that's no exaggeration. I would
Yeah.
have to be at work at 2 a.m. So, like, 20 minutes ago for myself. Then I'll get off at 9 a.m. And then I would have to drive about 45 minutes to my other job and work from 10 to about 5 p.m. But it was a baseball team, like a
Yeah.
professional baseball team. So when they had games, I would be there until the game was over. And baseball will go until about 9, 10 o'clock. So I was really working from about 2 a.m. to 10 p.m. So
Yo.
a lot, like I would say 3 to 4 days out the week, plus like the normal 12-hour days. And so there got to a point where one time, or not even one time, a couple times, I was sleeping in the closet at work because I was just so exhausted. I was falling asleep while driving. I was having like anxiety attacks at work. And I was just like, I have got to figure out how to scale back on my work, how to make my work more comfortable for me. And that's when I started getting into this space of working online and making online money. So, hey, at least if I'm going to be working a 16-hour day, I can be in my bed or something like that and not in the office somewhere.
Exactly. And I'm so sorry, I feel so sorry, for your path almost. Like it's brutal, these 16-hour days. I remember
It was
actually
rough.
my elbows were like raw because I was sitting as well the whole time. Like I
Oh
joked and
man.
said it was like tennis elbows, entrepreneur elbows. But it's almost interesting. It's like a lot of people go through a phase where you almost pay a price in a good way for your dreams. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it correctly. So we both went through seasons of almost ruthless work to then guide us into it's very interesting the pattern, but to choose ourselves amidst it all. And it's like the world is saying to you have to grind and it's good, but not
Mm,
to the detriment of yourself and your loved ones. Because I mean, my son went through a terrible time because I was in such a state. I mean,
mm,
it's not good for our loved ones if we're not okay.
yeah. No, I'm glad you brought that word up, grind, because that's something that, especially here in America, that's um very glorified. Like a lot of people are like, oh, culture, all this type of stuff. And it wasn't until that moment where I was, tearing myself down that I had to really think like, I don't want to actually grind, because if you think about the definition of grinding, is tearing yourself down. It's like
Wow.
you're thinking about like you're grinding meat and it's just like it's just shreds to pieces. And that's truly what you're doing to yourself. But
Yes,
what you want to do is hustle, right? That's different
I
because
like
I
that.
I think back to when we think about stories.
Yes.
When I was about 4 or 5 years old, when I was learning how to play basketball, I was learning from this coach that I used to teach at a high school. And whenever he would blow the whistle, no matter where you were in the gym, where you were talking, just practicing, he blew that whistle. He said, "You got to sprint, you got to hustle to him," right? So it's a quick sprint, and once you get to him, you just sit there and listen, and you just like catch your breath and all that type of stuff, right? And that's the same concept I think about life, where it's like you got to sprint to your destination, and then you
Yes.
kind of have to regather yourself. You listen, you take in everything that's going on. That's what hustling looks like, but you don't want to grind yourself down.
I love that so much, Philip. And I do think that's the new way of talking, with each other as well. Like I'd rather find out on how many breaks did you go than what did you accomplish almost. If we can almost change the narrative, the languaging between solopreneurs. And, it reminds me of the African animals. We've got the lionesses and the tigers and
Mm-hmm.
they wait. And they don't hunt the whole day. They
Mm-hmm.
it's all about timing and to really be very focused on their prey and to really then
Mm-hmm.
go for it. But the whole day they sleep a lot, they walk around, like we have to be more like the wild animals in how we
Yeah.
operate as well.
I love it. I think there's so many things I can think that can relate to that. One of them I think is trading. It's like with trading, like day trading,
Oh,
you have to, you're waiting for your setup. Like you're
yes.
not trading every single second of the day. You're kind of patient, waiting for your setup. And then you strike once you see that exact moment of the ideal setup that you're looking for, or even a principle I'm sure you've heard, and I'm pretty sure most of your audience has heard, it's like the 80-20 principle.
Yes.
Like, 20% or 80% of your efforts come from 20% of like the action that you're taking. Yeah. I'm sorry. Again, I think I got that right. You
No,
want to
you're
excuse me, it's 2
spot
a.m., but
on. No, it really
it's the
is. And,
same
and it
concept.
exactly, it's to be very like just wise with how you spend and
Hmm.
with who you spend your time as well. Because there's so many time stealers out there, it's not even funny.
What have you found that's stolen your time the most within, let's just say 2024, that you're not going to let steal your time and going into 2025?
That's a very interesting question. So for me personally, it's catching myself out that I'm overgiving. I
Hmm.
don't know if you also went through a phase where, I'm a giver, but I overgive. So the big thing is I would, for example, do a small project, but hey, let's do this as well.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm and so it mirrors back to me that basically that's something I need to stop, like very like stop overgiving. And
Mm.
the fair energy exchange thing is also crucial in business because I did run a nonprofit for so many years. So the aim was just giving, giving, giving. And now within my business, it's to see, listen, fair energy exchange. Big
Mm.
buzzword for me. And you?
How do you set that boundary for yourself?
That's the thing. And this is back to why we have this conversation today
Yeah.
is in if I'm in a better mindset, emotional space, I create better boundaries within myself to
Mm.
then not allow certain things to happen. So it all begins and ends with moi.
Ooh, that's true. That's very true. Yeah,
And you, what is your 2024 epiphany?
man. I think I was thinking about that earlier today. Like, what am I going to scale back on? Because part of me just wants to throw everything away and just do one thing and just
Yes.
focus on that the entire year. Um, but I think for myself, it's delegation.
Oh, I like that.
So
Yes.
I've done so much of everything year after year because, as a solopreneur, you have to in the beginning. You
Yes.
have to obviously be here to show up for your show. You have to go and edit it. You have to go and find your guests. You have to go vet your guests. You have to,
Mhm.
create the forms, the email. Like you have to do all of that stuff. But in reality, you don't have to, right?
Exactly.
You need to focus on the things that matter the most, and that's showing up for your show, the business, being the face of it, teach like whatever that is for yourself. So for me, it's I need to figure out what can I let go in order to grow. And that's actually, well, you probably can. Let me see if I can
But
zoom
that
in
is
on
an
it.
amazing mantra.
Hold on. You have to let
Ah,
go to grow.
wow.
And it says prune your life. So pruning in the sense of when you think of being a gardener, you have to be able
Yes,
to prune the dead stems in order for your plant to keep growing. And
that is
I need to figure out
amazing.
that.
And I do agree with you, Philip. As we grow our businesses, then you need to outsource more. I'm definitely there as well. And like you say, we're so used to doing a lot of things on our own, but the only way to really grow and scale your business is building a team at the end of the day.
And that's scary. That can be very scary for a lot of people. I'm not even gonna lie, it's scary for me right now because I have a virtual assistant and an intern, and I'm like, yo, they're looking at me for instructions. They're looking at me for help or
Exactly.
mentorship, and I'm still trying to figure this out myself.
But it's why I think the fear is good. I do think
Yeah.
there's good fear, and that is what fuels us as well. And
Hmm.
to inspire those in our world is the most important.
Yeah, it is. That is very true. Sometimes you can let fear drive you away from growth, and sometimes you can lean into that fear and allow you to push you to grow. So it just depends on how you react to it.
Exactly, exactly. And Philip, for our listeners tuning in today, gearing up for December, making New Year's resolutions and taking stock like we just did today, what
Mhm.
advice would you give them on priorities?
Man, I think I'm actually gonna go with the quote that I was just showing you on my board. So let me read the word. So, you must let go in order to grow. So
Love
the
it.
advice that I would give is to do an audit of your current life, like every single thing that you're doing. Like go look at your phone and see what your screen time is. See what apps that you're spending the most time on.
Mhm.
See who you're spending a lot of time texting, calling. Where are you going? Where are you spending all of your time? Are you watching a lot of Netflix? Are you watching a lot of educational videos? Just every single thing that you're doing and figure out what you can let go of in order to allow yourself to continuously grow. If you're on TikTok for, let's just go with 3 hours a day. Let's go with social media, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying give up social media, but maybe that 1 hour is scale back for 1 hour and still be on social media for two. But that 1 hour you learn a new skill. And maybe that new skill is going to allow you to produce more income, or that 1 hour allows you to reach out to more guests on your show, or just record just one more episode a day. Like I don't know what it is, but
Yes.
that 1 hour can go a long way when we think about 365 days or 366, depending on if it's a leap year or but the 365 days that we have out the year can go a long way.
No, I absolutely love that. And you are going through a massive change in your life. We did speak
I am.
about, me having an empty nest, getting used to it. You are getting married.
Yeah, I am.
Congratulations in
Thank
advance. And
you.
that's also, my one of my final questions to you. I do hope you'll be back for another episode.
For sure.
But like, how do you navigate changes, in your business? What advice would you give? Like for me, I saw to really just not break routine, even though everything around me changed. I really tried to stay in a type of routine. What
Mhm.
advice would you give with all the changes in life?
That's a really good question. So it's going to be very similar to yours. Is you find a routine, you try to stick with it as much as possible, um, and try to incorporate people into your routine that you care about the most. So I think this was before we started recording. I'm definitely going to sleep after this. I can't remember. It's only been like 35 minutes. But just in case it wasn't before we were recording, one thing I do every single day is I have time that I spend with my fiance in the evening, but
Nice.
also I spend time with her in the morning. So the meditation, the journaling, the gym, the reading, we do all of that together for
Oh,
the first 4 hours of the day. So yes, the self development for myself, but also it's time that we spend together before everything gets, thrown at us.
yeah.
The world just happens after 9 o'clock in the
Yes,
morning, to be
true.
honest. Um, so in terms of like changes and, for anyone that does have a partner or in a relationship or, you have friends that you want to keep up with, anything, right? Figure out how you can incorporate them into your life. And when it comes to, just staying on top of things, figure out the schedule that allows you to thrive the
Yeah.
most. So I'm gonna give you a quick tip. I use AI. I use ChatGPT to construct my weekly schedule.
Wow.
So I went in, I told it what my goals were. I told it I wanted to do like meditation, gym, read. I told it I wanted to do speaking engagements and I wanted to be able to reach out to so many people. I said I wanted to record so many podcasts. Like every detail of your week, when
Wow.
you're creating this prompt, it should look like 2 to 3 pages of a book. And I'm not exaggerating. It should be
Mm,
a couple hundred words of everything that you're telling it that you want to do and have it construct a schedule for you that allows you to be comfortable because that's
yeah.
what we were talking about earlier about like the scheduling is comfortable with me. I feel like I'm having perfect weeks now because
Yes.
I'm getting a lot accomplished, but without stressing myself out.
I love that so much. And that is basically, if you look at athletes, a state of flow that you do want to
Mhm.
be in as an entrepreneur. You do want to be there. So it's
Exactly.
really brilliant that you do that. And Philip, if anyone wants to reach out to you or purchase your books, how can they find you online?
Man, I'm gonna hold off on the books part because I'm getting so close to this next book being finished.
Good,
I'm just
good,
gonna
good.
hold off for that one. But I'm very excited for that one. But uh, Phillip Phenom Robinson, or you can just also search Phenom Speaks, Phenom Speaks on all social media platforms. Well, let's actually just go with Instagram because I'm not active on Twitter. I'm not really active on TikTok like that. But let's
Good.
go with Instagram and then LinkedIn is Phillip Phenom Robinson.
That is amazing. Philip, thank you so much. What a jam-packed episode. And I
Man,
can't
I
wait to
know.
have you back for your next book, sir.
Hey, honestly, it may be finished before January 1st. I don't know.
Amazing. You can set the goal by scheduling your next episode and then we can do the launch. That would be brilliant.
Hey, I'm love it. I love it. I love it. It's a great book. I'm excited. I think you're really going to like the concept of the book.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear more about it. Thank you so much for joining us. And everyone who tuned in, may this be an inspirational episode. Philip joining us all the way from the USA, 2 o'clock in the morning for him, and he's looking so good. I don't look like
Thank
that
you.
at 2 o'clock.
No, you
But
look great. I'm telling you, you look good.
thank you so much. And just for everyone, may this be a reminder that you are the first thing that counts. You are most important in your business. If you don't grow, nothing will. And it's also with that growth, it's to really nurture yourself. Like Phillip said, it's almost like in a garden. You have to prune things that's no longer working, but also to make sure that you are flowing from a good space. Thank you for joining us. Keep on writing, keep on shining, and keep on growing as a person. We are rooting for you. Have a fabulous day, everyone.
See ya.
Just watch me shine.